Hey, what's up everybody, Prospector here with Watcher Realms. Today we're going to be checking out Kigiri, which is going to be an exclusive 250 summons banner coming up on, I believe it's going to be the September 20th, if that's the rumors are true. This hero is really cool. But anyways, we're going to be checking him out in mostly AMR, Guild Boss 1 and Guild Boss 2 today. Without further ado, let's dig in. Alright, Kigiri. Fighter, normal type, burst damage, and parry. This parry is actually going to be useful compared to a lot of the other ones. Going over the base stats. He has HP at 26.7k. That's a very nice HP. Attack is all the way up at 6470. Awakening, he gets another 300, so it'll be 5770. Ugh, crazy. Defense is 2000. That's very good defense. Magic resistance is 477, it's pretty low. Cost is 17, not bad. Block is 2, normal. Redeployment time is 60. Attack interval is 2.6 seconds. Everything here seems to be pretty normal. Rage regen auto is a little low at 13, but his ult cost is really nice and low, so it's not going to be a really big deal. Alright, Kigiri's talent. Can launch Sweeping Strike at the farthest enemy within the ultimate's range every 40 seconds. Each time basic attack deals damage, it reduces the cooldown of Sweeping Strike by 1 second. AoE damage of Sweeping Strike and Ember Strike inflicts bleed. The additional damage ignores 50% defense and dispels a buff. The dispel for the buff is going to be really nice for Guild Boss 2. You can go without Lucius. Yet to be seen how good it is. We'll be testing out that today. Now on the basic, deals 120% damage to one enemy one time. It's just like a swing. It's pretty basic. Flow state is first passive. Parrying during tranquil. Reflection increases attack by 30% for 10 seconds. It's a crazy amount of damage when he parries. So we'll keep that in mind when we're testing him. Shallow counters. Second passive. When Sweeping Strike and Ember Strike end, there's a 25% chance to immediately launch an identical strike in the opposite direction. This strike cannot trigger this effect again. Kind of weird how they explain this. He has like a broad range when it comes to using a Sweeping Strike. He'll go out there and he'll attack. He'll come back. I think 25% chance will hit that same enemy again. So that's something to keep in mind. On the ultimate, Tranquil Reflection costs 600. You start off with 400, lasts for 8 seconds. It's not your average kind of ultimate. He's not just ulting for 8 seconds straight, but I'll explain in a minute. Sheathes the blade and prepares to launch an extra Sweeping Strike after up to 8 seconds. When receiving direct damage while sheathed, parries the damage and launches the extra Sweeping Strike early. If parry is triggered within 3 seconds of entering the sheathed state, launches Ember Strike instead. Unable to use basic attack during the sheathed state. So we'll get to keep that in mind, where if parry is triggered within 3 seconds of entering the sheathed state, launches Ember Strike instead. You don't want it to take more than 3 seconds. You want to have Ember Strike hit. Now the difference is Sweeping Strike dashes towards a target direction and performs a sword dash drawing slash, dealing 180% AoE damage one time to up to 6 enemies in the path. Then deals 480% damage one time to the target with the highest current HP among them. Immune to all damage during the cast. It's a whole bunch of damage going on right there. Just damage. Ember Strike dashes towards the target direction and performs a sword drawing slash, dealing 240% AoE damage one time to up to 6 enemies in the path. Then deals 480% damage 2 times to the target with the highest current HP among them, and immune to all damage during the cast. So we have 180 and 480, and then we have 240 and 480. So he's just going to end up doing more damage. I think it's the same amount of times. Now the 40% hit is going to hit 2 times on Ember Strike, and on Sweeping Strike it only hits 1 time. So just a ton of damage coming in. Now on the Awakenings, Awaken level 1, when launching a basic attack, additionally restores 3 rage and 3% HP. So every time he hits, he's just restoring some HP. He's really good at keeping himself alive that way. That's very good for Guild Boss 2 or Guild Boss 1, whatever you're using it on. Besides the fact that he has like invulnerable state when his ultimate or when his sword is sheathed. Awaken level 2 is attack plus 300. We've already talked about that. Awaken level 3, Within 10 seconds after Sweeping Strike is activated, each direct damage dealt inflicts additional damage one time equal to 35% of the direct damage. Within 10 seconds after Ember Strike is activated, each direct damage dealt inflicts additional damage 2 times, each time equal to 25% of the direct damage. So there's another reason to make sure that you're activating it, you're using it for Ember Strike and not Sweeping Strike. Not that it's a bad hit or anything, it's just it's more optimal to hit with Ember Strike. Awaken level 4, he gets penetration plus 8%. Awaken level 5, Sweeping Strike and Ember Strike launch during Tranquil Reflection will always trigger Shallow Counter. And Shallow Counter is when Sweeping Strike and Ember Strike end, there's a 25% chance to immediately launch an identical strike in the opposite direction. The strike cannot trigger this effect again. So as long as his ult is on, he's got his weapon sheathed, it'll always trigger that second hit. Especially if you do it, I mean, it's going to be a crazy amount of damage, and I'll show you in a minute how this is going to go. As for the artifact, I think a Wailing Skull is going to be your best option. There's other things that you can try, but he has impeccable stats, so I mean, running with a Wailing Skull is a really good idea. I mean, you could put him in a Lunacy Visor if you need him to survive a little bit longer. Frigid Flame, if he's not taking any damage, he's kind of pretty good at that actually. Because the fact that he can kind of go invulnerable, he won't take damage, I think that should work properly. Realm Tear is not really a good option. I think that's about it. Alright, so first we're going to go into an AMR test on stage 18. I'm going to leave Power Dominance on. Most of us have already beaten AMR. He's going to be usable for you, very good as for AMR either way. So it doesn't really matter if Power Dominance on it is on or isn't. But I do like to use it to gauge versus somebody like a Silas. You know, he can get it done within that like 10-second time range. So for the team, the only ones I'm going to be using is him and Constance. Just keep that in mind. We'll start off with just him because I wanted to try something. I want to see if he can sit here and tank the boss. Just see how much damage he can do. Here he comes. So he's about to get hit again, so I'll sheathe the weapon, come out. Look at all that damage. Holy cow. Check that out one more time. I'm down to 26%. I'm going to slow it down a little bit this time. Comes the next hit. Goes the strike. You can see he's got the flames around him. That means it's an Ember Strike. Can't even see where he is. He's somewhere in there doing a bunch of damage. 185, 185, 23, 328. Just wild. He's just going to keep going. So he's going to go back in there and do it again. Bunch of 185, some 85s in there. 743. Holy cow, 750. It's pretty wild. And he's still at it. Still at it. This guy. Alright, so I know he cannot beat him by himself. He does a pretty good job though. This time I'm going to put Constance down without activating her inspiration. He's just going to get an invigoration buff to see what that 10% attack will do. For him, 10% attack is a lot. Yep, there we go. Here we go again. Here it comes. 324. 199, 199, 799, 800,000 attack or damage on that hit. It's insane. Granted, he's not soloing the guy, but still. 200k, 200k. Wild damage. Just wild damage. Maybe he can solo the guy with Constance sitting next to him, healing him up, keeping him going. Oh yeah, he can. He's got this. Look at that. I don't know. I'm not sure on the time on that, but it's pretty quick. Alright, we're going to go again. This time I'm going to activate Constance before he goes. I can just put on 2x. He can tank it pretty well. See, every time he hits, he's healing for 4,200. Good amount of heals. Alright, so here we go. Activate constants. Here comes the hit. 1.2 million, 1.1 million. One more time. I want to see this one more time. Bring it in. Make sure I slow that down so I can see it better. Holy cow. 125, 1.1 million, 277, another 1.1 million. Insane damage. One more time, I'll save it, and then I'll run it on auto. I know a lot of people don't really care about whether or not he can do AMR solo with POD on, but it is kind of neat. I like to watch these guys who can shred up AMR the fastest. I don't know why, just do. Let's get to... Here we go. Once he gets going, man, he just shreds it. Just shreds it. Alright. Save that. Let's watch that on auto, see how it goes. Should be pretty quick. Here we go. That's it. That's pretty fast. I am impressed with this young man here. What a cool hero. Question is, how well does he work in other things? We will find out. Let's take him into Guild Boss 1 first. I am keeping him built as an A5. I can tell you right now at A0, the kind of results that I'm looking at with him is going to be right around 90 million. Dolores is built. Everybody should be built. Let's go ahead and run him in there. Still put Lust and Arrogance down. I do not bring Volca. Decided that he's not really needed, so we're pretty good to go without Volca. We are going to make sure that everybody has an invigoration buff on them, including him, and we'll try to keep him cycling his, well, sheathing his sword and parrying at the right times, the best I can do throughout the run. Before we get going, I want to show you that sheath a little bit more. Pretty easy to do, but I have to point something out. Remember, you want to get towards this last bit of the attack. Activate it. There he goes. He's unsheathing his sword and attacking. So that's typically how it goes. It does not. You cannot do it every single attack from the guild boss. So that keep that in mind while you're doing it. But he just did sheath the sword by himself, or he did a sweeping strike all by himself. So he's not. You don't really have to worry about it. And it'll tell you right here how much time he has left until the next sweeping strike. Right on the buffs here. Let's go ahead and get this all set up. Get into the fight. I'll do a little time lapse so I get started and then be back with the results. I'm going to put him down. I'm going to put Lust down. We're going to put Araka down for the Invig buff for Lust. Put Arrogance down. I'm going to put Torador down, looking at Arrogance to give him the buff. And then I'm going to place Silas or Hex down here. Laurel for his buff. Silas up here. Hollow for his buff. And then Dolores should give Kigiri the attack buff from Invigoration set. Everybody should have it. Just to confirm. There we go. Everybody has the Invig buff. Here comes the attack. Most of the heroes I just activate as soon as possible. For him, I want to get it off at the right time. There you go. That'll work. Dolores being activated or not doesn't matter. He isn't in a Soulbound Arcana set, I forgot to mention. Go ahead and activate Dolores and Laurel, and as soon as Laurel's done with her ult, I'll pick her up. Alright, activate him. Do another good parry out. Pick up Laurel. I'm gonna activate Lust, Silas. Do a good amount of damage. Now at this point right here, oh, we didn't roll very good there. But at this point right here, while the boss is down, I just prefer to not use his ult. You could, because it will still do a bunch of damage, but if you time it right. But I'm just gonna hold back in between there like that. Do it right at the right time. Right, here we go. You will notice too that just because this is when he attacks, it isn't the only time that your heroes take damage from the guild boss. You will see their health kind of drop a little bit in between, especially even Kigiri's up here. Here we come on the first attack. There you go. Parry off again. Once again, I cannot get his parry off again for the second run. Seems to be every other. Here comes Laurel. Not sure if we're gonna get this off in time. Perfect. Got it off. Anyways, with that, I'm gonna go to time lapse. I'll come back to you with the end of the results, or the ending result when we're done, and we'll go over and see how he did. I'll be right back. Alright, here we are at the end of the fight. Looks like we're ending right around 96, 90. Everybody on auto here. 97. Had much better runs in the past, but this is what we end up with. 97.5. Let's check out the results. X, of course, coming at 260 is A5 with exclusive. Lust at 182, she's hard to beat. Arrogance at 173. Silas at 138. And we have Kigiri here coming in at 135 million. That is at A5. Now, I do want to mention that I did switch him with Lust and have him do most of the ulting with, or having the advantage of having Laurel next to him. And one of the runs that I did, and he does do more damage. He gains about 15 mil, but Lust loses about 15 to 20 mil anyways, so he does a pretty good job just being up in that corner all by himself anyways. Now, we have to take him into Guild Boss 2 and see how he does there. Alright, so this is the team I'm planning on bringing. I have the standard kind of Nightmare Squad. I have Percy in there for some damage reduction, Hello in there for rage regen, cleanses, I have Carnelian in there for like an invulnerability for everybody that's on the team. Ingrid's in there for damage. He pairs well on this. You could do something like this. I find that he's going to do a lot better up here. We have Alistair in there for more damage reduction on the boss. Constance in there for inspiration. And I think that about sums it all up. Now, something that key I have to test here is whether or not Kigiri can remove the buffs off of the Aegis shield in kind of like a proper manner. And for that, I want to make sure that I have his skills right. to see when he's going to do that. The additional damage ignores 50% defense and dispels one buff. The AoE damage of Sweeping Strike and Ember Strike and Fixed Bleed. Okay, so each time basic attack deals damage, it reduces the cooldown of Sweeping Strike. I mean, I think he's gonna kind of do it like on autopilot. I don't think you really have to worry about it too much. We'll see. We'll see if those buffs come off of there. You see the team is very well built for the most part. Most of these guys are A5, including Kigiri. I don't know what Alistair is not. Alistair is A5 and so is Ingrid, so it should be a good amount of damage. I'll just see if we can just place him down right. Corridor is our tank, by the way. He also brings some stuns to help reduce the damage. Now the question is, how do we place these heroes? Lust. Arrogance for sure. Constance. Going to place Halloween right here. We want to place Arnelian up here. And down here, I think. We're gonna wait a second. I'm gonna put Kigiri right here. I don't think there's any other option for me to put him anywhere else. So I have to put Torador down here. Keep that in mind. We're gonna place Ingrid right here. I believe she's in the proper mode. Nope, I have to activate Alt to get her into the target. Then we'll place Percy right here. I have 3 heroes to place yet. I'm gonna place Alistair right here. Yep. Alistair right here. We're gonna put Percy right here. And we're gonna put Arnelian facing up right here. I'm not gonna really activate any ults quite yet. Well, I could. A little more stuns on him. Reduce the damage. You've got damage minus 30%. That's coming from Alistair. Defense down is coming from Torador. These are Radiant Erosion, I believe. And Burning, I'm not really sure what that one is. Hey. Oops, I didn't mean to activate her, that's okay. I'm gonna activate him again. Get the slow bomber kind of sets going. I believe. You're doing what she's supposed to be doing. I think so. Alright, so here comes some shields coming up. Stop killing them, everybody. Want to see this? Go ahead and activate his ult. Go in there and do a bunch of damage. There, oh, he just took the buff off. Look at that. Look at that. I think that about settles. I have to get Kigiri. I really wish I had Ingrid on my main account though. Man, it's amazing. Okay, let's go ahead. Hit him. Go. A ton of damage to the boss. Rip him to shreds. I guess that answers that question. I'll go ahead and do my best to do a run and we'll see what we end up at. We'll check out what Kigiri's damage looks like. Intervention! Alright, so I just stopped this fight a little bit early. I noticed something with Kigiri. Maybe it's an issue with how it works or something. I'm not really sure what's going on. But I do have to point it out. First I have to make sure that Lust had gear. I think she did. Okay, we're good. She has gear. I want to go in there and add a little bit of rage regen to Lust if I can quick. But what I noticed is that when Kigiri was in his ult, or his weapon sheath, he wasn't able to get cleansed of the poison that he had on him. And I'll show you what I meant in just a moment. Let's go ahead and put down Lost, Arrow, Constance, Elowen, Kigiri. Yes, it was Percy here. It's Ingrid right here. Get her ult right away. Carnelian down. Hank and Alistair. I'll just go ahead and boost right through this right away. We'll activate his ult, why not? But rip it to shreds. Need to get over to the Titan's Drake. One cool thing about bringing Percy on this comp is that you can activate Percy when Kigiri's about to hit and be hit and Constance isn't there. On her ult anyways, and get the inspiration buff on Kigiri. Here we can see this shield go away again. Comes the shield, it's gonna pop up. Take it away. There it goes. It's gone every time he uses that sweeping strike. Interesting. Let's get the poisons up. Here they come. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna activate his tranquil reflection. I'm gonna try to cleanse these just those 5. See if it takes it off. Well, it did that time. Okay. I guess we're okay then. I'm not really sure what happened there. Anyways, I'll go ahead and I'll reset the run. I'll go into a time lapse. We'll finish it up and see what the damage results are. Be right back. So I'm just pausing right here for a second. I just hit Elowen, and just to show that I'm not crazy, she's in his range, yet he's still poisoned. I'm not really sure at what point in time that poison isn't clearing because Elowen can't reach him. But it's definitely gonna scuff the run. I'm gonna say it's, if she could do it in between, if I get him, maybe I could probably swap him in lost positions if he's have some kind of issue with like some kind of glitch or something. But there's definitely something going on here. I have to contact the devs about that and explain to them what is going on and see if they can fix it. Back into the run. Alright, I'm gonna come up to 120 mil here. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna see how Kigiri compares to the other heroes on the team. And then we'll kind of end the video with that. See what the results are. As soon as we hit 120 out there. Right there. 120k. See how he compares to the rest of the heroes on the team. We got Ingrid in there, we got Lust, we got Arrogance. Should be able to see a pretty good result difference. I'll even save the team. Not that I'm gonna really need it on the test server, but alright, here's the results. Ooh. 286 damage. I will say though, as well as not only is he doing a ton of damage, I mean he's awakened 5, but not only doing a ton of damage, those Aegis buffs, he's better than Lucius at that as well. He's outdoing Arrogance. Of course, his parries are much better timed with Constance. A little more focused on worrying about that versus Arrogance being timed with Constance. It's kind of hard to do anyways. Ingrid coming at 229. Alistair's down at 100 million. That's because he is not within Constance range. Otherwise, he'd probably be right in the 200 range anyways too. We had plenty of damage anyways, but lost 317. Kigiri at 286. Arrogance at 265. Ingrid at 229. Alistair at 100 million. Wow, that is crazy. And also, to end the video, I wanted to show what I'm gearing with. Didn't really go over that in the beginning. I did not test to see if he works with Infernal Roar on the ultimate. I do see that his cost is really low, and I don't see why I would run Infernal Roar over Soulbound Arcana. Anyways, it might even be something like some kind of Night Terror set might even do okay. But I'm thinking Soulbound Arcana is going to be the best for most of the fights. He's a boss killer at heart, I believe. But so, for the gear that I was running him in, he wasn't even in a full attack percentage set. I think he has crit damage piece on him right here, but he does have 3 pieces on him that'll have Rage Regen on him. To bring his rage really nice and high, that way he could ult and parry more often to get that Ember strike off often as possible. Warlord on the left side, of course you can go with an Eye Might. His attack is really high depending on what you're going against based on defenses. So my conclusion is that he's a must go for. If you would go for Lust, you should go for Kigiri. It's going to be a guaranteed exclusive summon at 250 summoning crystals. I do think that Kigiri is well worth all the crystals, and maybe even going further beyond on the 15x after you get him originally. See if you can't get a couple extra copies. He's going to be basically broken already at Awaken 3, but it does get worse at Awaken 5. I mean, Awaken 5 is a hell of a boost, because he's going to trigger Shallow Counter every single time during Tranquil Reflection, which is his ult, which is pretty much the whole point of using him anyways. He sheathes the sword, and he's going to go ahead and destroy things. Now, for his utility for Guild Boss 2, I think it's very, very amazing. I think he does a better job at keeping those Aegis buffs off of the Aegis shields. He just does it on autopilot. You don't have to do anything. He just goes ahead and does it after he does his sweeping strike here, and his sweeping strike is on a timer where it just kind of goes off whenever it's ready to go off. You can see if you click on him, you can see the buff and his little counter in there, and when it gets ready, it'll go off and it'll take off those Aegis shield buffs immediately. He never got over 1 Aegis shield buff, and if he did have it for a little bit, it was only for like 10 to 15 seconds. Game changing. Now you do have the option to not run Volca in this manner, but it does require a team that's going to be running Ingrid and Alistair, because you need to run Alistair for damage reduction, or you need to run Volca for damage reduction, which is right here. So Volca needs an exclusive artifact to make that happen consistently on Guild Boss 2. My conclusion is I'm very excited about Kigiri. I think you guys should summon for Kigiri. But that's all I have for this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. Or join Discord. Ask me directly if you need to. If you have any ideas for you want to see Kigiri played, just let me know. I'll see if I can make another video to get it out for you guys. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep digging.